Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. Just a quick reminder that I do giveaways every single week, so if you're interested in entering, I'll tell you exactly how to later on in the video. Today we have some malicious compliance stories, and our first story of the day is by CorruptdFusion, Stupid Policies. So early last year, I have started working for a small transport/warehouse company here in the UK. As I had changed professions, I had to be trained from the ground up, but the MD's son hit off from the moment we met at the interview and was determined to get me on the team. I was given an afternoon shift, which meant I got to learn the trade both the proper way from the day shift and the backdoor kind of way from the night shift. Now, it is important to point out that it is both our company policy and a contract with our clients that if we were to require any third-party trailers for loading, outside hauler that is not part of the company, we had to contact them by email and await a reply. Night shift being night shift, you usually do not end up getting a reply until about 6 o'clock next morning when the day shift starts. This meant that if we wanted to load anything on third-party trailers, we had to find our own way. Now, my personal way of life was always to help everyone out, as when you need something from them, they usually are happy to provide. There was one third-party hauler which loaded with us quite often, and the night shift manager often used to ring us to find out if we loaded anything they was to pick up in the morning. We'll call them Fusion Transport. I ended up doing them quite a lot of favors over the months, whether it was loading stuff early or arranging for them to come at a specific time and get turned around within a few minutes. The only problem is that we have multiple clients in our warehouse, let's call them A and B. I've met and almost always helped Fusion in regards to our client B, but they often did work for our client A as well. The only problem was that the two clients have been contacting two different depots of Fusion Transport, and I was not allowed to leverage my contract there if I needed something for client A. This is where the fun starts. Just few days before Christmas last year, on a Sunday, our client A has informed us that they had just agreed a load going to one of their biggest customers. The load was supposed to be delivered at 3 o'clock Monday morning, and we had been informed at 2200 on a Sunday evening. Mind you, on Sunday afternoons, all of the warehouse crew finish at 1800 and don't get back in until Monday at 6 o'clock. So I was there alone, just manning the office. Conversation went something like this. Client A says, "So we've just sent you an order info for an urgent load that's got to be delivered in 5 hours time." I say, "Well, I'm alone here at the moment, but if you are desperate for it, I can go out and assemble and load the trailer myself. I just need you to send a driver down with a trailer so that I can load it." Client A says, "Well, that's the problem. It is being taken by Fusion Transport and they only agreed to it if they can arrive at your place and pick up the trailer, otherwise they won't make it in time for the delivery." I say, "Well, fair enough, but first of all, we have none of their trailers here, and even if we did, I can't move one onto a loading bay myself. Have you got one down at your place one of your drivers could bring so it is ready?" Client A says, "Nope, we've got nothing." "Yes, I know what you're going to say. Our planning department is a load of bollocks." I say, "About right. Is this desperate then?" Client A says, "If we don't deliver in time, there will be quite a large fine." I say, right, leave it with me." At this point, I thought, screw it. If they're that desperate for it, I'm gonna venture slightly outside the policy and request help from my fella down at Fusion. So I called him up and explained where I stand. He went silent for a few minutes and then told me, "You know what, pal? You've done me quite a few favors recently, so it's about time I paid back. I'm gonna send one of my drivers with a trailer you need and a couple of fellas to give you a hand doing so. How does that sound?" I said, "You're having a laugh, aren't you?" Fusion Transport fella said, "No, buddy, I'd say that puts us about equal." And he did exactly as he promised, and about half an hour later, I had a driver with a trailer and 3 other guys to help me load it. It was ready just in time for the other depot of Fusion Transport to collect it. I rang up out client A and told that the order had been loaded and was on its way to the customer. He praised me for working miracles, and we left it on that. Next day afternoon, I come into work only to be greeted by the general manager and managing director himself, both asking me how the freak did I pull it off, as they had spoken with our client A and they knew we had no trailers to load it on and they couldn't provide any either. I explained to them what had happened and how I got it done. What kinda took me by surprise was that instead of at least a nod of approval, I had been bollocked for breaching company policy. Unhappy, I returned to my duties, but I kept it in the back of my mind for a future reference. Boy, oh boy, did I have a grin on my face when in early January I received a nearly identical phone call on a late Sunday night. But this time I was going to do it properly. I composed a quick email to confirm we had received an order and that we urgently required a Fusion transport trailer to load it on. I ensured to copy in as many people in management as possible, including both the general manager and managing director. About an hour after that, I get a call from my general manager asking me how I am doing with this order. I calmly proceeded to explain to him that due to well-foreseen circumstances, I was unable to load anything as I did not get a trailer for it. He was furious and hung up on me. About 10 minutes later, he and managing director both walk into the office and proceed to question me on why the heck I cannot get one thing done. So I put on my special face reserved for moments like these and said, well, as I had it pointed out to me last time, I am to strictly follow company policy in situations like these. I have requested a trailer and am waiting response from client A. General manager says, but you know they cannot provide you with one. I am well informed of this fact, sir. However, our policy states that we can only request trailers from them. Unless, of course, this is when I put my hands together and started rotating my thumbs around each other like a hunter waiting on his trap to trigger. General manager was fuming at this point. Managing director just looked at him, then at me and went, can you get a trailer sorted through one of your contacts? I said possibly, but general manager won't be happy about me breaching the policy again. Managing director said, screw him, you've got my permission. If he has anything against it, I'll take it on personally. So I proceed and rang my contact. He was happy to provide me with a trailer as he had a driver in my area who had just finished a job. I turned around and told him that we'll have a trailer on site shortly, but that due to the time wasted, I would not have time to load in time for collection. General manager just looked at me confused, but the managing director started to understand what I was hinting at. I wanted them to load the trailer with me. The best thing was that we use electric pallet riders, which you need to be qualified to ride, even though they are a piece of cake to use. This meant that my so-called helpers had to use the old-fashioned pump trucks to move the pallets around, which is not fun when the pallet weighs just under a ton. I will never forget the struggle faces they pulled as they were pushing the pump truck around the warehouse, and I was just zipping around them on my electric pallet rider. To this day, I was never questioned in how I do my work and what backdoors I use to get it done efficiently. So let me ask you guys, if you're doing a job and there is some kind of contact backdoor that will easily make sure you do your job as efficiently as possible, do you think it's okay to bend the rules to allow these kinds of things? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by pocketfullofuranium. Santa doesn't like selfish brats. As a HR manager at a manufacturing company, I had the pleasure of working with some of the true salt of the earth lads. I bloody love them. It's rare to have this sort of relationship with HR, I know, but I didn't start in the position. I worked my way up and in doing so, always kept my main ethos intact. Be open and honest and communicate. It's simple, but changed the way the company saw itself. With my job and part of the open and honest structure I believe in comes my policies. In my experience, when people have defined policies, it helps them know what will happen and limits any what-ifs. One of my policies is on gifts. We are a manufacturing company, we don't get a huge amount of gifts. Come Christmas, you do see a lot of companies trying to buy your interest though. It had appeared to me in the years I'd been there that most gifts came to myself from recruitment agencies or to the purchasing manager from potential stockists. My policy stated that all these gifts would be put in a pool and every employee would be eligible for them. It was nothing great, a few bottles of wine, some chocolates, once there was a stay in a local hotel, but it was important to me that everyone got to be eligible for them. And it's always fun on our last day before we shut down for Christmas to have this raffle. It's a happy end to our busy season. And so I've been there for a few years and our sales director is off on holiday in December. I have a call transferred through from one of our customers and I'm thinking I'm about to hear a complaint. Instead, he asks for the address to send the whiskey to this director for this year. Say what? Apparently, the sales director received 2 bottles of expensive scotch every year from this customer. I told him he was off on holiday and asked him to send care of me. I then had my assistant email every customer our gifts policy. You know what happened? That year we had a butt ton of gifts. Whiskey, hampers from fancy stores, weekend retreats. The sneaky but stingy sales reps were just accepting these gifts and not following the policy. They all played the, "Oh, this is the first year they've sent gifts that I know of," or "I didn't know the policy" cards. I wasn't having that. I showed them the signatures of them having received the brief on the policy and reminded them that if they were found to be in breach of this, formal disciplinary action could be taken. Here is where I maliciously complied with my own policy. I had written in that you can be removed from the Christmas gift raffle should you be found in breach of said policy, accidentally or otherwise, to prevent this exact situation. I didn't state how long this removal would last for. None of them faced disciplinary action as it would be too hard to prove. It was 4 years last Christmas, still no sales reps in the raffle. 4 years is a lot of time, but if you're gonna withhold all that stuff from all of the other hardworking employees, I wouldn't be losing any sleep on it. This next story is by Stresso Espresso. Don't hang up. Gladly. First, some background. I am an 18-year-old college student who got a temporary job as a cold caller for a proxy company. I know I am the worst type of person, but we all have our faults. This was in June, so smack dab in the middle of lockdowns in the US, and I was very fortunate to get any job I could. I had recently been hired to work for a proxy company, which essentially meant I would call people's homes and try to get them to vote on company policy for corporations they held stocks in. People hate it when you call. They will curse at you, threaten you, guilt you, and scream. Apparently, the group I was working for was pretty crappy because people would say we called multiple times a day. No matter what happened or what they might say to us, we were told explicitly we were not allowed to hang up under any circumstances on a client. This was generally pretty crappy. Many people would get personal with you and threaten physical violence or try to make you feel really guilty saying you had woken up their baby or something. However, once in a while we would get people who just wanted to mess with us. My favorite example of this was someone who pre-recorded an elaborate audio drama which took place in a casino. They initially started off friendly, telling me to hold on for a sec or talk about their job as a chip counter, and there was even dead space with some background sounds in it to make the caller think they were actually there. I caught on pretty quickly that this was a bot, but I was under no circumstances allowed to hang up on a client. The story continued, with the casino worker getting in trouble with a scary-sounding Russian man. And still I listened. Approximately 15 minutes in, the man faked getting beat up by the mob, and after 20 minutes, the call ended. I was paid hourly, $17 an hour, so I made about $6 listening to a well-made and entertaining audio drama, all because I was told I was not allowed to hang up. They changed the rules after that to make a caveat for recordings and bots. I feel like this job either teaches you to have the patience of an absolute saint, or would just kind of drive you to the point that you quit yourself. So quickly now, I want to explain just how to enter the giveaway. All you need to do is leave a comment on this video relevant to something you saw or heard or liked in any story in that video. That's it, you're entered. But it applies to every single video we upload this week. So to get the best odds at winning the $30 Amazon gift card giveaway, you'll want to leave a comment relating to any of those videos all week long. On Sunday, after the last video has gone out, I'll pick one comment at random and let you know on the following Monday who has won, and then it starts all over again. So make sure you leave a relevant comment on this video and additionally every video I upload this week for the absolute best chance to win. And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and give the videos a like too, because it helps more than you could imagine. And our final story of the day is by chefjenga. Okay, I'll have the 3-year-olds clean up earlier. As a qualifier, I have found when working with kids, sometimes you have to adjust your rules and process according to the personalities of your current class, not based on what has worked before for former groups. I work with preschoolers. My current class, I let them play right up until I'm plating lunch, then I say clean up because if they clean up too early, they have to sit and wait on the carpet for lunch to be on the table, and this group doesn't sit well unattended. See wrestles, hits, and basically annoys each other in a sometimes we just knocked heads and are now crying kind of way. I've been doing things like this for over a month now and it works fine. A few days ago, I was sitting with a child who was sad. The plates and things were already out for lunch, but the food had not arrived, so the children were happily playing. My boss walks through my room and tells me,
"Why aren't they cleaning up? Lunch will be here. They need to clean."
I say they will. I typically wait a bit because it takes so long to serve lunch, and they don't sit well.
"Well, this room is really messy. It will take them a long time too. Have them clean up."
Okay, I clap my hands, tell them to clean. They start. Halfway through, the food arrives and I start plating up. I'm not even close to finished and the room is clean with 10 3-year-olds sitting on the carpet. Then the physicalness begins. I can't do anything because I'm plating up food other than verbally give reminders. Boss walks through again, sees the chaos on the carpet and me across the room. Food gloves on and scoops in hand, unable to be present on the carpet or lunch doesn't happen. She had to sit down and keep the kids occupied until I was ready for them to wash hands. Took about 5 to 10 minutes out of her already busy day. She hasn't asked me to have the kids clean up for lunch since. If I were the boss, I would definitely listen to what the person who teaches the class or takes care of the class has to say, because the one person that would know how their class needs to work and run the best would usually be the teacher or the caretaker. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you had a favorite story of the day, let me know which story and why in the comments down below. But besides that, if you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like and subscribe if you haven't. Also, please consider turning on notifications so you'll never miss an upcoming video too. No matter what you did, whether it was viewing the video, liking, commenting, subscribing, thank you all so very much for supporting the Storytime channel. Every little thing that you guys do helps the channel grow more and more every single day, and I appreciate the heck out of it. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all next time right here.